Over my 44 years in the field, I've been asking almost everyone I encounter, what do you need to thrive and participate fully in society? Because this data set is so diverse and multifaceted, the only way that I can plot this is in what's called a high-dimensional multivariate scatter plot. And sorry for the geeky data table. This looks like a starburst, and I call it the human starburst. The pattern is many bell curves plotted together, or the pattern Pareto noticed when he developed the 80-20 rule. Like a normal distribution, 80% of the needs are clustered in the middle 20% of the space, and the remaining 20% of the needs are distributed in the periphery in the remaining 80% of the space. Data points in the middle are close together, meaning they're more alike, and data points at the periphery are farther apart, meaning they're more different from each other. And this is where the needs of people with disabilities can be found. Because of economies of scale and conventions like the 80-20 rule that say to ignore the difficult 20% that take 80% of the effort, almost anything that is designed works for the middle, is difficult to use as we deviate from the middle and doesn't work for people with needs at the jagged edge. And unfortunately, AI is accelerating, amplifying, and automating the same pattern, because any statistically determined conclusion is accurate if you're average, inaccurate if you're different from the average, and wrong if your needs are out of the jagged edge of the human starburst. This pattern ripples through every aspect of our lives, creating greater and greater disparity, whether it is in our designs, the products that make it to market, the knowledge we recognize as scientific evidence based on quantified statistical power, our education, which of course pursues to standardize learners, our systems of employment, which attempt to create replaceable workers, and our systems of governance. For in defending democracy, we've often reduced the ideal democracy to one person, one vote, and majority rules, ignoring human rights, which means that the critical needs of the marginalized minorities will be outweighed by the critical needs of the majority. But what we have learned is that designing to the edge means that the majority has room to change and grow. The self-reinforcing data pattern has led to dangerous blind spots and destructive, perseverative decision patterns that exclude the very individuals that have insights that we need. The individuals that are most aware of the crisis to come and most vulnerable to the current risks have the greatest motivation to find alternative paths and have the least attachment to current failing strategies. They're the people at the outer edge of the human scatter plot. That's where we find transformative innovation, and we definitely need innovation at this time. I would like to share a Canadian experience in inclusive education, enabling all students to participate in higher education. I created a university program as an experiment in inclusive education, and we include many students who are considered non-standard learners. We have moved from standardization to differentiation. Each student creates a personal learning plan that will help them differentiate themselves and optimize their strengths and potential. We shift from competition to achieve the highest grade to collaboration and establishing a cohesive learning community that have the collective experience and responsibility to make sure that everyone in the community succeeds. We moved from separating students into grade-based classes to intergenerational learning opportunities and all students as teachers. And rather than focusing on accommodation for disabled students, we moved to designing the entire program inclusively. In this way, our students also are learning about inclusion from external direction